People, I think, don't realize just how short civilization. First writings were only about 5,000 years ago. So I don't know what happened around 5,000 years ago, but for whatever reason, there's not really writings before that. So there's not like some coherent symbolic representation before about 5,000, maybe 5,500 years ago. If you date civilization from the point at which we had writing, it's only 5,000 years old. Earth has been around for, I don't know, 4.5 billion years, 5 billion-ish. The universe has been around for 13.8 billion years. There were like shellfish 500 million years ago. So basically, what I'm saying is civilization has existed for an instant. From a sort of a galactic timescale frame of reference, civilization at 5,000 years is basically flash in the pan. And if you look at the history of civilizations, which I encourage people to read the history of civilizations. In fact, there's literally a book called The Story of Civilization. It's quite good. And there's been the rise and fall of many civilizations over the last 5,000 years. And if you look at, say, the ancient Egyptian civilization, which was one of the first writings, not the first, but close to the first. You know, they built these incredible pyramids and had this sophisticated writing system. And then the people living in the area past a certain point, I don't know, maybe around 1,500 years ago, the last person who could read hieroglyphics died. I think probably 1,500 to almost 2,000 years ago. And well before that, the last people who could build pyramids died. And then basically people were living next to these structures they just didn't know where they came from, and with funny symbols written on them. And it took like Napoleon invading Egypt and bringing a bunch of scholars with him, and the Rosetta Stone, but much more than the Rosetta Stone, ultimately to decipher hieroglyphics. It's quite a difficult thing to decipher. I'm just saying, like, that's a civilization that had a really good run. Mm-hmm. The ancient Egyptians had like a 2,500 year run-ish. That's a very long time. They're like 10 times longer than the United States has been a country. Mm-hmm. But still they died out. The ancient Sumerians died out. They were arguably the first, like from an archaeological standpoint, the first evidence of writing is the ancient Sumerian. Yeah. They even found like school books and stuff, like clay school books with like teachers' corrections and stuff. So it's just like basically civilization has existed for a split second is really what it amounts to. So I think it's very important that we become a multi-planet species while we can, and before technology potentially subsides below the level where it's possible. One of the possible scenarios, and I think possibly even a probable scenario, is that our tech level actually drops, just like the ancient Egyptians, just like every civilization, which has gone sort of on a sine wave, but ultimately a downward sloping sine wave. You know, just like the Egyptians living in Egypt forgot how to build pyramids and read hieroglyphics. We may forget how to build spaceships. And so we should build the spaceships and make life multiplanetary while it is possible. And if there were to be a World War III, which is not zero probability, looking at recent events, yeah. What will be left after that? Will there even be, will there be, who's to say what technology would be left after a World War III situation? Yeah. It should be noted that Russia still has enough nukes pointed at the United States to make every major city, to make the radioactive rubble bounce several times in every major American city, currently.
It's not a small number.
Several thousand.